What up, Internet?
Hey there, camera!
Welcome to a video we're recording for you right now. We're going to reminisce in our little reminiscing corner all about that time.
That time we went to...
Malaysia.
Not to be confused with Myanmar, because for some reason our brains are wired wrong, and we keep saying Myanmar when we mean Malaysia, and Malaysia when we mean Myanmar. So we went to Malaysia in 2018? Yes, it was 2018. Initially, we were going to go to China, maybe. We called up Beth and we're like, hey, you want to come on a trip with us? And she's like, no. And then she called back and she's like, yeah. But I'm really happy that she said yes because it was amazing. And it's the first time we ever traveled with a third person. So thank you, Beth, for being our first third person.
She put up with us well.
She did. We drove over to her house to book a flight, not knowing where we were booking a flight to. We had some ideas. We wanted to go to Asia. It seemed a little bit rushed to try to get our Chinese visa because that process can be pretty intense. We ended up buying a flight to Malaysia. We flew to South Korea for a brief stopover.
Very brief. Very
brief. And then we flew to Kuala Lumpur. It was a really long flight. It was like 14 hours to Korea, and then it was like 8 more hours to Kuala Lumpur. One of the longest flight things I've ever done in my life. So we flew into Kuala Lumpur, and we stayed in the heart of Chinatown for our first night. You and I stayed awake long enough to
have a rooftop beer,
which is one of our favorite things to do. Then the next day, we did a full-on, on-foot walking tour of Kuala Lumpur.
After nearly 24 hours of flying, that was fun. Here we are in Malaysia.
Which apparently is really weird.
Because it's hot. It's
yes,
very hot.
It's incredibly hot and humid in Kuala Lumpur. But we like walking everywhere, and we walked Beth's feet off.
Yeah, it's the biggest test to whether you can stand traveling with us is if you can stand walking for a mazillion years.
Yeah, we love walking, so...
in whatever weather.
Yeah. We checked out a bunch of really cool things. First we went to a Chinese-style temple. Then we went to my first ever Indian-style Hindu temple, which was really neat. It had the stacked, I don't know what you call it, the main tower of a temple thing stacked with the colorful...
Beautiful.
Sculptures. That was really neat.
I've never seen something like that before.
No, me either.
I have since, but...
Yeah, that's true. We haven't gone to places similar since. But this was our first time. Then we walked down by the water, saw some cool street art, went to a mosque. That was an interesting experience as well. Then we walked down and saw a bunch of street art, and before going to the canopy walk, which proved...
That was really cool.
Yeah, it proved to be one of my favorite parts about Kuala Lumpur, I think.
Yeah,
with that
going on an adventure.
It's free. You just, in the middle of the city, go up through jungly things, and there's pathways and things in the treetops. It's really cool. Recommend.
Yeah. Certainly a thing that stands out from Kuala Lumpur is all the different views you can get of the Petronas Towers.
Mm-hmm. Right after we went to the canopy walk, we walked...
Am I saying that right, or am I being influenced by Harry Potter?
No, I think it's Petronas Towers.
Okay.
My Patronus is a tower.
Mine's 2.
We went down to the park and we heard our favorite new bird friend. And then it torrentially downpoured and we got trapped in a little pagoda, which was pretty neat. It was neat to see that really intense rain that is so characterized in Southeast Asia.
I don't think we have any footage of this, but there's... Just a small anecdote. A random guy joined us in our rain protection who had traveled with only one little shopping bag.
He had a plastic shopping bag. It's his carry-on, and that was it. And it was mostly filled with a pair of underpants and a library book that was this thick.
Yeah.
And those are your essentials for traveling. It's a giant library book you probably don't intend on returning, and 2 pairs of underwear. I'm assuming he was wearing one.
Props.
And then the second day, we jumped on a train and went to the North Island called... What was the island called?
Penang.
And we stayed in Georgetown. And Georgetown was amazing.
Quite famous for its street art.
Mm-hmm. That was definitely the highlight of my time there, was just kind of wandering around and looking at the street art. That's not true. I liked Keklak Sea a lot.
That was, for me, the highlight of the entire trip.
Yeah.
As I've said on camera probably 40 times. But let's say it again.
It's probably the most amazing temple I've ever seen in my life. And we've seen a lot of temples.
Recently, there was a fire there, which is quite sad. I still am not sure the extent of the damage. It looked like it was primarily to the one
The big
like,
tower,
tall
yeah.
structure. Hopefully that's okay and gets fixed
Yeah.
up and all that. Because that place is absolutely amazing. And it's sad to think, like, there's so many gardens there, too, that I don't think would do well with a giant raging fire next to
Yeah,
them.
all around the base of the tower is just garden.
But on a positive note, it's an absolutely beautiful place. We spent nearly a whole day there and tried not to miss anything.
Yeah.
But there might even be more little secret corners
Definitely.
and views
We
and
didn't
things.
get down right to the bottom part with the little tower, but there's basically like 3 layers to that temple. There's probably more than 3. The top layer has the huge Buddha under the little structure. I'm sorry if I'm totally
It's not
wrong.
Buddha. Is it a cannon or I don't know,
Okay.
a religious statue?
Sorry, guys. The top part has like a pond and this massive statue, and then in between the layers you can take like a little funicular thing, or you can walk. The other layers have like different shrines and the big pagoda, and I'm
There's
bad
a
at
lot.
describing gardens, and yeah, there's just tons to see.
It's the Disney World of temples.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in an insulting way. A large,
Overproduced.
colorful, inviting. Those are the comparisons I'm trying to draw.
And the very bottom level had like a massive turtle pond where you can buy green stuff and feed turtles, which is pretty neat.
There's lots of turtles.
Yeah. Then we got on an even bigger funicular and went up to the top of Penang Hill. I think it was more interesting for the ride than for the destination itself.
Great views from the top.
I'm sure there was a lot to do up there, but a lot of it seemed even more like the Disneyland of
Yeah.
Of
Touristy.
Malaysia.
Take
Yeah.
your picture in this plant.
But the ride was really neat, and the funicular has been around for a long time, I think since British colonial times.
We were there very briefly. There might be some more hidden joys that we missed out on.
Yeah, I think there's a rope bridge that would be interesting to see, and there's like monkeys you can go visit in the wild. We did see monkeys as we were taking the funicular up and down. Other than that, we went on a day trip on a different day out to Monkey Beach. Speaking of monkeys.
Where are we?
This is Monkey Beach.
Blimey, I found a monkey.
It's a national park. You can walk to the beach, which is probably what we normally would have done. We just walk everywhere.
Crazy.
It's
I
probably not for
enjoyed
the best.
the boat ride that we did
Yeah,
take.
the boat ride was really cool. It would have been difficult if we had walked out there and then wanted to take a boat ride back. So maybe the better idea is to take the boat out there and then walk back or something like that. Monkeys were running amok, dumping over garbage cans and the like.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit dirty. But
I
like,
assumed it was tourists at first that had littered up the beach.
and then
but
we saw a monkey in action.
yeah, knocking over the garbage can and then
Mm-hmm.
carrying litter up into the trees and like, oh, yeah.
Yep.
So if you bring garbage, bring it out with you.
Then back in Penang itself, I really just loved the city, just wandering around. We went to a little Harry Potter cafe. We went to a place called Cowboy,
Bebop.
not Cowboy Bebop,
Cafe.
Cowboy Cafe, where I died from spice and
Yeah.
the guy laughed at me.
Spicy soup. It was good,
It was really good.
but it was also hot.
Yes, very spicy.
And the weather's quite hot.
I
so that's
enjoy
a
when
trifecta of sweat
when
making.
things are actually spicy, when they say they're supposed to be spicy. That was too spicy for me. We went out to one of the jetties.
It's like a little sort of village on docks.
People live
If you
out
don't know
on
what a
floating
jetty
docks. Oh, we went to Little India, where we heard the loudest. So I can get some of the song.
That's my jam.
It was also really interesting that in Kuala Lumpur, but in Penang, it was very obvious. Like, we were standing in front of a Hindu temple. 2 feet away, there was this like Chinese temple on the end of the street, and you turn the other way, and there's a mosque. So it was kind of neat to see like
The multicultural
all of
aspects.
these religions kind of coexisting within feet of one another, and that is really great. The food there was incredible. We had a lot of Indian food while we were in Malaysia, because there's a lot of Indian food there. Anything to say about the accommodation? I guess we just stayed at a hostel.
Yeah.
It was kind of sketchy
Oh, I didn't think it was
a
bad.
little bit.
It was
They
fine.
tried to rip us off.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did try to rip us off, and then our door wouldn't open. Blamed us for it. And then we got a crappier room.
That's funny. In my mind, I was just like, oh, it was fine. Yeah, we had a bed, whatever.
Yeah.
But I forgot that there was some bullshit.
Yeah, but then we took the train, well, the ferry, and then the train back to Kuala Lumpur, and we stayed in an Airbnb. That might have been our first experience Airbnb.
I think so.
Yeah.
Unless I'm forgetting something. But
That was also kind of strange. It was weird that our host was like sitting in the lobby pretending he didn't see us. on multiple occasions. It all went fine. The only really weird thing about that place was a fork outside the window. Sure, we have a picture of that. We'll show you the fork. Also, it had one of those most Instagrammed in the entire friggin' world pools on the roof or close to the top floor.
Yeah.
Which was delightful, except you couldn't swim in it because people were just constantly like
Lining
trying to
up
take
for selfies,
pictures,
yeah.
so you couldn't really
But
swim.
we took video and pictures too, so
Yeah.
we shouldn't act like we're above
Yeah.
that.
We also took a day trip out to something I'd been wanting to see for years and years, was the Batu Caves.
Yeah, not to be confused with Batu Caves.
Auto!
Matsumoto, Ato, Bana.
Very few people will get that reference. Those caves are amazing and totally worth the sweaty climb up to the caves. They're monkeys.
Yeah.
I've realized now, since we've been there, they've repainted all the stairs.
Yeah.
They weren't painted
They're
beautifully
rainbow
when we were
stairs
there.
now. It looks really cool.
And we went to a world, it's a small world little thing.
Religious statues depicting the stories of stuff.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
I enjoyed
Very
it.
colorful.
All the monkeys on the way up the stairs and in the caves themselves, I kept hearing horror stories of them like stealing your camera and stealing your water and grabbing at you. And
They were pretty well behaved
being
monkeys.
crazy. Yeah, I came in with a little bit of monkey fear and left with
Your wallet
yeah,
still in your pocket.
Monkey Appreciation Day.
We went to Little India. That was like the last thing we did on our very last day, basically. And then we decided to relax with a bucket of beer before our flight in the evening, before we had a
I
ridiculously
think
long flight.
also on the last day we found even more views of the Petronas Towers again. Filmed them from different angles
Yeah.
and things.
So we'd love to go back to Malaysia one day when travel is allowed again. There's tons of places that we didn't see. I'd like to see things that are maybe a bit less on the beaten down tourist path.
And some things that are more.
Yeah, but I just love to go back. It was delightful. I love the food. I love the people. If you have any recommendations, though, where we should go in Malaysia, please let us know, because we'd love to go back and see more of it.
We tried durian for the first time.
Ooh, I didn't. You guys
Minus
did.
Holly.
I have tried it since. It is disgusting.
It was
That's not
much
true.
better there than at a crappy Canadian grocery store. But frozen durian versus fresh durian.
Yeah.
These two.
It smells like a tipped over outhouse garbage disaster.
Yeah, generally you don't want your food to smell exactly like poop.
And it tastes like how I think it tastes like rotten onion, like mushy, sweet rotten onion.
The most noteworthy thing about it is that it, for my money, impossible to describe accurately.
Yeah, for sure. So you have to try it.
That's a perfect pour right there.
I enjoyed the Tiger beer. Yeah.
So thanks so much for watching.
Smash the likes and the subscribies. Push the flim flams and thumbs up.
Thank you for watching
Yeah,
the video.
thanks for watching. Let us know places we should see in Malaysia. Take a look, camera.
Thanks
Want to see your
for
new
watching,
autofocus?
friends.
This is a brand new camera, and like, look at like, oh, okay, not my face, just the yeah. So, isn't that so cool? Let us know if you like our new camera too. Hopefully, upping our game. Take luck.